Hey guys, John here from the Info Hut YouTube channel with another tutorial. Today's tutorial is of a iPad 3 front glass replacement. So what you need is obviously a sharp knife or an X-Acto knife similar to what I've got. The newer or sharper the better. A separating tool similar to this. A Phillips head screwdriver. And most importantly, your replacement front glass. Now I'm going to put a link at the bottom below where you can purchase all these. Now especially when you're purchasing the front glass, make sure you get a front glass that has the adhesive so it sticks, and also the home button at the bottom. Now it's very important that you do most of all make sure it has the adhesive. It'll just make the job a lot easier. These are about between $10 and $20 on Amazon.com, so they're not expensive. Let's get started. Okay, first thing is you need to turn off your iPad 3. And as you can see, I've indicated a few important areas of this this repair that we need to be careful with a pen. So the first is at the bottom here you have a Wi-Fi. Okay, this is just a little like flex type cable that sits at the bottom here. At the top, if yours is a 3G or cellular, you'll have the 3G antenna up here. Now we want to avoid cutting them, and as if we do cut them, we'll just have to obviously replace them. They're not expensive parts, but it'll just save you a bit of time. So let's get started. At the bottom right I start, so to the right of the home button. Okay, now what I like to use, and this is entirely up to you, I like to use a sharp knife. Now most importantly, if you are using anything sharp, be careful. Also, as we're dealing with broken glass, make sure you wear a pair of safety goggles or glasses like this. Now, what we're going to do is we're going to try and pry under the actual glass, and between there's a little white border there. As you can see, I'm moving along it. So we put it under there and we lift, and as you can see there's that gap, and this is coming off a bit easier than it should because it has been repaired before. And obviously there's not too many cracks. Now if you've got many cracks like here, it's going to obviously be a lot harder and it's going to crumble more. So you're going to see examples like this bit of glass coming up individually. That's not an issue, it just takes a lot more time. So I'm going to start on this side and show you how it is when there is no cracks, so to speak, on a certain side. I always start at the bottom right, and pretty much, as I said, you wedge it in there and you move your way up. Now be very careful. This is going a bit faster than it should, just due to the fact that I've actually repaired this before. It's going to just come up a bit easier. So as you can see, that's one side practically done. Now we're going to get to the top. When I get to the top, I switch to just a normal separating iSesamo tool because I don't want to cut the actual 3G antenna. So I slowly move, and look, this is coming off fairly easy. I slowly move across like so, and just be very careful and move it slowly across, and move it slowly across like so, and you just be a bit persistent. Don't lift up, don't force it up, just slowly move it across. You can use a heat gun or a hairdryer, that's entirely up to you. If it's sharp enough you won't need to use it, but if it's not you might need to. This is part of the 3G antenna over here as well. So we're trying to avoid cutting anything. There we go. Now, I've gotten to this side. Now this side's going to be a bit more, not tricky, it'll be a bit more time consuming, and I'll explain why. Right here, we've got a lot of broken and shattered glass. Now when it's broken and shattered, it just has to come off in pieces. And you have to slowly pick away at it until it does. But we still do the same method. You can use a sharp knife or a separating tool. The separating tool works wonders, and once again, they're on Amazon and I've got a link below. You just move your way down. Oh, there we go. Don't force it in too much. And there we go, actually. This is coming off better than I thought. But occasionally you're going to see stuff like this happen. And that's fine. I mean, just make sure you don't get any glass or cuts, you know, on your hands. Be very careful. Wear safety gloves if you don't like, you know, getting small cuts and stuff. And we're going to slowly continue moving down. Oh, there we go. I've broken a bit more, which has just created a bit more time. Now what I like to do is, when I get to, like, say that side, I like to go to the bottom here and then slowly move across. I am putting a lot of pressure, by the way, guys, so just, it might not look like it, but there is a bit of force to cut through this adhesive that's sticking the screen. Now we need to go back through each section again. And you're going to slowly see it'll start lifting up in certain places. We need to see what parts it's not going to lift up. There we go. As you can see, there's a bit more room here for it to lift up. Now, when you do lift it off, try and avoid touching the LCD screen. Not an issue if you do, but you'll just have to wipe your fingerprints off it and stuff like that. So I always try and avoid, you know, touching the LCD. Well, you guys can fast forward through this. All I'm doing is just going around and loosening the adhesive. It's nothing different to what I've shown you guys before. Okay, now, as you can see, it started to lift up. And it lifts up, and at the bottom here, and I'm going to flip it around so the home button's at the bottom of the camera. At the bottom here, you're going to see a cable, so we can't really take off the screen until we get this cable out. So now we get our Phillips head, and there's going to be 4 screws. There's going to be one at the top left, one at the top right, and make sure you pull away any glass that's hanging over. One at the bottom right, one at the bottom left. Simply just take them off. Put the 4 screws aside. There we go. Now, to get something to go under it, I'm using just a little skewer. We lift it like that, under there like that, and under here like this. And guess what? The LCD will pop out, like so. And looky what we have here. We have a little bit of adhesive tape holding that LCD in. So what do? We just get a pair of tweezers, or whatever you want to use to take it off. You can even use your fingernails. And that little bit of adhesive comes off. Put that aside because we're going to put that back on when we put the LCD on. Sometimes I forget actually to put that back on, but it's not an issue if you don't. Then there's a little locking clip, and the locking clip, it's right here. Imagine it coming up like this. Sorry, I'm going to use 2 fingers. Locks up like that. So you can even use your fingernail, and I will. Just pull it up underneath like that, and you slowly let's get a bit sticky here, so you need to just separate the tape. Okay, and evenly pull the LCD out, cable out like this. Beautiful, like that. Now, second part here. We need to take this broken glass off. So, once again, get some tweezers or whatever you want to use. Take off this, oops, wrong one. Just sit here, take off this tape. Like so. And we lift the lockers, lift that locker. This will be taped all the way up there. It's going to be taped to the frame. That's what we need to do. Doesn't matter if you break the actual broken screen because it's already broken. Just get something under there to lift the tape. And once again, slide the cable out. So I'll just get out of your way and slide the cable out. There we go. And what do we do with this? We throw it away. We don't need it anymore. But you're going to see around this frame, there's all this black stuff and sticky stuff and a bit of glass. And I found a great solution on how to remove it. So, first of all, get a knife and let's remove all the big stuff. Like, you know, the black adhesive and stuff like this. And we slowly go around. This will take about, you know, between 10 and 20 minutes to do this. Don't have to be perfect. Just get all the chunky stuff off the top. Like there's a bit of glass here. I've actually cut into that 3G a bit. If you've done that yourself, don't worry too much. Just test the 3G to make sure it works. And if it still does, you know, it's not an issue. Okay. Look at that, that's coming up right off. Once again, we don't have to be too pedantic here, because after this we're going to get some isopropyl alcohol or just rubbing alcohol. We're going to rub it all off. Now for those that are a bit impatient, you can use acetone. Just be aware acetone is very abrasive and you need to use safety gloves and stuff like that. So I just use the rubbing alcohol, but some people use that isopropyl, that acetone, which really rubs off that glue. The reason we want to rub off all this glue is that when we put our new screen on, it's going to stick well. Okay. So there we go. Now, I'm just going to get something. Now, I'm just putting some rubbing alcohol on a tissue and rubbing it all off. Now this is just going to rub all that glue that's still on there. You might not be able to see it. You know, it looks so fine, but at the bottom here, you keep rubbing it and it eventually comes off. This black little tape that you'll see, that's from the original LCD, sorry, front glass, not LCD, from the front glass. So it actually is supposed to come off. And if you want, you can use cotton balls as well, like this. The cotton balls are great because the actual adhesive sticks to it. So I'm going to switch to a cotton ball now. And slowly you're going to see it look black like that. You'll be wondering where that black comes from, but that's just from usually the black parts like here. And we go to the top. I don't know if you guys can see it, but see there's like a little bit of a glisten in the light. So you just need to rub it. It's alright if you rub over the Wi-Fi antennas, don't worry about that. I mean the 3G antennas and the Wi-Fi antenna. That's fine. Trying to ration out my cotton balls here. Just run a bit low. So you will go through a few of these. And you will get sticky hands, so maybe even wear gloves if you don't want to. If you want to avoid getting sticky hands. Now once I've gone all around here, and you guys can fast forward through this, I'm going to put the LCD back in, and then I'm going to test the front glass before, you know, locking it in, so to speak, because we need to make sure that, you know, we haven't bought a dud and everything works. Also, we'll be back to square one. And that rattling sound is this is just a dispenser of isopropyl alcohol. And you slowly go around. As you can see, that's the cut. I don't think that'll be an issue, but I will check my 3G when I you know, test the actual front glass, and I will test my Wi-Fi. It's just a good habit to get into, to test your iPad to make sure that, you know, everything is working as it was before you did open it. The more time you spend on this, the better the actual you know, finished job you will have. So, you know, if you spend half an hour to an hour repairing this, you know, that's time worth well spent, because your actual screen will sit a lot better. And please, while you're watching this, feel free to fast forward through this part, as this is just a standard, adhesive removal around the frame with a cotton bud. And as you can see around that frame, there is pretty much no sticky adhesive now. It's just a frame. You're going to see that your workbench does get messy. Just obviously have a bin and make sure that you do wear gloves if you're picking up glass. Now, we're at this stage where we've taken the front glass off that's broken, we've taken the LCD off, and we've taken the sticky adhesive around the sides here. And what we need to do is now just get our new replacement front glass and test it to see if it works. Okay, so we do everything in reverse. We get our front glass that we bought off Amazon.com. Make sure it's got that adhesive around there. We don't take off the double-sided tape just yet because we're testing. And sorry, there's a bit of tape holding this cable down. Now, just one thing I'm going to show you guys is how to fold this cable, because there's a certain way so it can tuck under the frame and doesn't stick out. So what I do is I simply do this, I move it all the way around and then form a crease like so, and then you're going to see another crease here, like a little ripple, and then I just fold it up there where the ripple is. So if you look at it, it should look something similar to this. So what it's going to do is tuck under the frame like that, and then you're going to be able to easily, close it. But first we're going to test. So before we do anything, we test. We need to make sure that all our parts are working correctly. If they're not, then we obviously have an issue with the part or something else. So I'm just going to get a pair of tweezers that aren't too sharp, like these ones. Just trying to do it with tweezers so I don't get in the way of the camera. There's two white lines there. Push them all the way in as far as they go. Sometimes if you don't push it all the way in, half the digitizer will work. Okay, so remember what I'm saying. Push it all the way in. And then you just close the lockers. And then we get our LCD wherever I have put it. And evenly push it in. Sorry, I'm going to tuck this in first. Sorry guys. Just so everything can sit neatly and I can show you what I'm doing. So once again, evenly push that locker in like so, then like so, then push the locker down. Oh, it's not even. I'll do it again. I'm not happy with it. And push down. So there we go. Now what we're doing, once again, we're just testing. This is not the final. So I turn it on. And wow, it's turning on. Well, that's a good sign when it turns on. I'm just going to temporarily close it. And what we're going to do is we're going to test to make sure that the touch screen works. Okay. And we're going to make sure that the 3G works and the Wi-Fi works. So the Wi-Fi signal is showing that it's at full range. Whoops. And we're going to make sure the home button works as well. And there we go. I'm getting signal on the 3G. I am getting signal on the Wi-Fi. The home button's working, the power button's working. You just test everything. Now, the touch screen. I like to keep it in lock and do it this way when I test the touch screen. You just go. And as you can see, every section's working fine. I'm not too thorough on it. I'm confident that it will be fine. But you guys, by all means, if you're a bit more cautious and, you want to check everything out, you can, test it thoroughly. Okay. Now what we do is we turn it off, and we're going to get ready to close it up. Okay. Now I'm just getting my cloth because I'm going to start wiping things down. As you can see, there's a bit of old glass on here, so just gently get a microfiber. Clean with no lint. And I just wipe it. The reason I wipe slowly is when you move around real fast, dust tends to go everywhere. Just be real patient, real slow. You're going to see that there's fingerprints on the outside, most likely when you're taking it out. So what I like to do is just get a little, go into the corners and make sure that I haven't missed any parts. Like here, I put my fingerprint. I'm really pedantic with small pieces of dust. Look, the reality is if there's little bits of dust in there, don't worry, you're not going to see it when the actual iPad's on. You're only going to see it if the iPad's off under extreme, magnifying light. Even little bits of fluff you can't see generally, so don't be too cautious. It's just fluff. Look, at the end of the day, this is saving you guys, a lot of money than if you take it to a repairer. So now once that's all dusted off, I'll just get my tweezers again, wherever I've put them. And now we need to take, I'm going to turn the camera here. There's a little plastic on the inside of the screen that we need to take off, and then we have to take off this tape covering the adhesive, or paper covering the adhesive. So I like to work from this side. Now don't touch the adhesive once you lift the paper off it, okay? Remember that. Do not touch the adhesive. It's so important you don't, because it's really important that we keep the stickiness level very high with the adhesive, okay? So I just cut that. Let me take it off. Yours might be 3M tape, it doesn't matter. Don't touch any of it. Don't bubble or lift the black tape. I'm going to do one last wipe on here. Then I'm going to take that plastic off. So let me just wipe the LCD one last time. When I say take the plastic off, I mean this stuff. It's on the inside. I'm just going to lift it over and close it. It's really important that we just line everything correctly before we seal it. And wow, that's pretty much perfect. And there we go. And if we take that, then there'll be plastic on the top that we can take off. I won't peel that off yet, I just want this to set. So you can put a bit of heat on it. What I love to do, I probably don't love to do, but is just get clamps and put a clamp on the corner of each side and just let it sit there for an hour. Once the clamps are on there, just puts a bit more pressure and holds everything down. And the button works. Make sure everything works. And there you go. So that's pretty much how you change an iPad 3 screen. Thank you for watching, guys. Please upvote this, as I have taken the time to make this video for you, and please subscribe to my channel, because I'm going to put more reviews, updates on upcoming iPhones and iOS devices, and also repair tutorials. Thanks a lot. Bye.